Hi everyone, Kate here for my second April reading update. I think thus far I feel like I want to do 2 reading updates a month, and I think I'll be able to keep up with that and want to keep up with that. I might do additional tag videos, but I think as far as telling you what I've been reading, what I want to read and everything, I'm going to do these reading updates. And I like this style, just kind of fitting everything into one video. So they are longer videos, sorry, but that's just what's working for me now. And just the thought of sitting down and editing lots of different videos when I could just cover it all in one video as opposed to 3, then I'm just feel like that's less overwhelming. So anyhow, the books that I finished since I last spoke with you all, there are 3 of them, and the first is Middlemarch, which I had said that I was enjoying, and I'm really pleased to say that I'm still so glad that I picked it up. I really thoroughly enjoyed it a lot more the second time around. I thought of certain characters differently. I just thought of different aspects of the story differently. So I think this is a book that I'm going to enjoy growing old with, and just reading through all the decades of my life. I'm really pleased. It's a slow burn. And even more so than compared to other classics, but it really does stay with you, and it's on my mind a lot. So yeah, I'm so pleased that I read it, and it was really nice to be able to read with Stephanie from That's What She Read and kind of hear her predictions, but also her first time reactions, and we both enjoyed it more than we kind of anticipated that we would. The next one that I finished, I had told you guys that I had started, is Sparkling Cyanide by Agatha Christie. And I ended up enjoying this. Unfortunately, I always find with Agatha Christie that the build up to the murder is always more exciting and engaging to me than the solving of the crime, with the exception of the murder of Roger Ackroyd, which I really enjoy that one because of that. So unfortunately, this felt like a 5-star read, and that it was just so exciting and fast-paced and learning all the suspects. And then I feel with Agatha Christie that I'm always slightly let down. The second half doesn't live up to the first half. Just hearing all these facts hashed out, and it just felt kind of repetitive. So, all that being said, it was still a 4-star read. I definitely enjoyed it. But I wish there were more Agatha Christie, that I enjoyed the second half as much as the first part, the post-murder parts as much as the pre-murder parts. So yeah, I'll be curious as I continue on with Poirot books, how I feel about them. And then lastly, one that I spoke about, and I don't have it with me, but it's whatever. And that's Thornyhold by Mary Stewart. And this was a buddy read with a bunch of lovely booktubers. And this is now, I think it's way up there as far as the Mary Stewart that I've read. I think it's the 7th now that I've read. And it's just such a treat. I've just been saying to the ladies, I love this routine, of putting back the most recent Mary Stewart and then pulling out the next one off the shelf. I have, all my Mary Stewart stacked together, and it's really fun. So I really enjoyed this one. This one, takes place in a small cottage in the sleepy countryside, and there are witches in this one. And I was really that was so different than any of her other ones. And I say that about all of hers. I'm just really impressed by how unique all of her books feel. I don't really think I'll have trouble in years to come keeping the different plots distinct. She just had so many different unique stories that she wanted to tell. So this one was really fun, and it was definitely the most lighthearted out of Mary Stewart's. So it made it really fun. It wasn't what I was expecting, but I enjoyed it nevertheless. And obviously it's one of my faves. So I'm really, really glad that I read that. So the next Mary Stewart we will be reading is My Brother Michael. And this one, Delphi. I don't know how to say it, but it says a moment's impulse leads Camilla to volunteer to drive the hire car to Delphi. An impulse she quickly comes to regret, for not only are the dusty roads through the olive-clad hills full of pitfalls, both literal and metaphorical, but they also lead her into a nightmare of danger and intrigue. And so this is, one set in the Mediterranean climate, so that will be fun. And the first sentence is, nothing ever happens to me. So I just love this, getting to treat myself to a Mary Stuart every month. I'm already anticipating just being so sad when I've read all of hers, but I'm enjoying it. It's really making 2018 a treat. Okay, then next for upcoming ones. So Kate from the novel Nomad and I are going to get to read some mysteries together. We haven't done that for a couple months, so we're really looking forward to it. I had a baby and now, she went to Japan and she's back and I'm reading more. So we are just really excited. And the first one that we talked about us wanting to read is the next one in the Amelia Peabody series, The Last Camel Died at Noon. And I am not going to give the synopsis because I've found now that kind of many of the synopses of the Amelia Peabody mysteries sound alike, but it is in Egypt. Most of them are in Egypt. There's only been 1 out of 5 that I've read that has not taken place there. And it is about Amelia Peabody and her archaeologist husband Emerson, and they are Egyptologists, and in addition to being archaeologists, and just the escapades and adventures they go on with their son Ramses, and just a lot of fun. And we only read 1 last year, so I was really, once I realized that, I thought, oh, we definitely need to read more in 2018. And then the next mystery that we kind of always like to have an Elizabeth George, Inspector Linley, on the back burner. So I got about 6 or 7 of these for 50 cents at the Andrew Bain Memorial Library. They just didn't have enough space to keep all the books that they wanted to. So this one is, I think, the 5th Linley. Yeah. And this one, Deborah and Simon St. James have taken a holiday and winter landscape of Lancashire, hoping to heal the growing rift in their marriage. And they are 2 kind of minor, they're sort of minor major characters. They aren't as major as Linley or Barbara Havers, but you definitely see them in a lot of books. And I want to know these characters more, see how they're doing, because 2 books ago, there was a big thing that happened in their relationship. And then in the next book, you didn't see them at all. So I'm looking forward to kind of seeing what has happened to them. And this is about the Vicar of Winslow also. A man they had come to see is dead, a victim of accidental poisoning. So these are, I say this all the time, that they are ones that happen to be murder mysteries. They're incredibly literary and just delve so deep into the personalities of the characters and their flaws and strengths, and it's just lovely. So these are slow burner mysteries, though. I find once I get to 75%, then I kind of plow through. But the first parts I really like to go slowly. So like I said, Kate and I, we just said this will be on the back burner. We don't like to rush these. We love to savor them. And this one is probably, oh, I forgot. Now they're starting to get a lot longer too. This one is almost 600 pages. And for a mystery, that's very long. Your average cozy, I'd say, is around 300 pages. Other ones I'd say are closer to 400 pages. So I can't wait to start savoring this very slowly but steadily. Then another one that I am already reading, and it's the next on my Victober Top 5 TBR predictions list. And this is Shirley by Charlotte Bronte. And I just started chapter 9, and so I'm 121 pages in out of 500, is it? 550. This takes place during the Luddite riots in Yorkshire, which I knew nothing about. So I think, and so it's historical fiction because this was about when were the Luddite riots? This was, earlier. This is, I'm stumbling over my words. This was historical fiction. So the Brontes, did not live through this, and this happened, when they were very, very young. So really neat to learn about this, and, the Luddite riots and the frame breakers, as they called them. So that's the thing that's fun about historical fiction, is getting to learn through the art of story. And I do find the Victorians really do like historical fiction, because a lot of the Victorian literature that I read it's written later than the events, or when it's set. So I think that's really cool to think about reading old historical fiction. So yeah, continuing through this. And like I said, I'm just not going to kind of give any reactions to my top 5 TBR predictions, because I want to save that all for a ginormous video with all 15. And then my husband and I are continuing through 3 Men in a Boat, and we have, I think we're about 25% of the way through. So we're taking it slow, but slow and steady, like I said. Then on my list of rereads for the year was North and South by Elizabeth Gaskell. So I'm going to talk about this and do a plug for a fabulous, fabulous podcast that has just been making my day. Katie from Books and Things and I have been talking about it. And the podcast is called Bonnets at Dawn. And it's hosted by 2 ladies who just adore Jane Austen and the Brontes. Rather, one of them, calls herself Team Austen, and then the other one calls herself Team Bronte. The teams that they are on, the authors that they like. So one, in the beginning of the podcast, the earlier episodes, they're kind of having these, arguing for Jane Austen, or arguing that Charlotte Bronte or one of the other Brontes is better. But then it kind of, it has its own evolution. And eventually they started talking about Elizabeth Gaskell. And when I happened upon the podcast, they already had some Elizabeth Gaskell episodes up there. And Katie posted about them on Instagram, and I was chatting with them, and they said they're going to be doing Wives and Daughters episodes, and I am just losing my mind with excitement. So what's really fun is they have North and South episodes, and they have them for about every 10 chapters of North and South. They have an over hour-long discussion. So I've been going through this, and after I finish the sections that they were talking about, I listened to that episode. So it's such a treat. And to learn about little details in the background, like talking about ferns and how Victorians loved the ferns, loved, growing them, and bottle gardens and everything. And now I want to grow a bottle garden. Just really cool. Just a really super immersive way to read it. And, it's like a really, really awesome book club. So yeah, I have nothing but great things to say about Bonnets at Dawn. It's a wonderful podcast, and it's really fun because they have an Instagram page and a Facebook page, and you can just get to talk about so much great Victorian literature and Jane Austen, all the time. So yes, I am, going through that podcast and doing, other episodes. I'm in the middle of a Jane Eyre versus Northanger Abbey episode. So yeah, just such a treat. So right now I am about 180 pages into the 420 pages. So I'm almost halfway through North and South. And I'm really pleased to say, upon this reread, I am enjoying it immensely more than the first time. The first time it just felt really hard. But this time I'm enjoying it a lot more. I think because I've just gotten more used to reading classics. So very just intense and brooding, and it's good stuff. It's good stuff. Then next, I am almost through with Prince Caspian by C.S. Lewis, the second in the read through of the Narnia series that Katie from Life Between Words and I are doing. And I am enjoying this a lot more than I remembered enjoying it the first time. But also exciting news is that my 3.5-year-old Peter saw me pull this book collection out of his room. And he was, asking me, why are you taking that out? Or what is that? And I told him, it's books Mama's reading. And he said, oh, I want to read them, because he saw the pictures. And I thought, okay, I'll start them and you're not going to like them. But he has sat through and just listened to them. And so we finished The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And so we're going through Prince Caspian now. So it's really nice because I listened to the audiobook for myself, but then I get to extra pay attention to lots of details when I read it aloud to him. So this has just been such a treat. 2018, being the year of going through the Chronicles of Narnia with Peter. So yeah, so we are with him. I'm not yet halfway through, and in audiobook I have about 4 chapters left. So yeah, I'm really pleased that I'm enjoying this a lot more than I remembered enjoying it. One part of it is that I probably that I can't remember much of what happened in it. So yeah, there's that. And I haven't made any more progress on The Monster in the Box, but I want to. It's not for a lack of wanting to read more Ruth Rendell. It's just a matter of making time for it. Still making my way through Can You Forgive Her by Anthony Trollope, reading that with Ange. We're going to go through all of the Palliser novels, and so far so good. He's just so entertaining. It feels like watching TV when I'm listening to the audiobooks of the Palliser novels. So yeah, it's good stuff. And then I do have checked on an audiobook. It's just kind of everything combined. I have so much I want to read, but it's a very good problem because a couple months back, I just kept trying to read things that were kind of out of my wheelhouse and not having fun. And now I'm having so much fun. So it's a really good problem. But the next one in the Finishing School series by Gail Carriger, Curtsies and Conspiracies, book number 2. So we'll see if I get to that. And then all of the middle grade March people talking about The Girl Who Drank the Moon made me want to read it. It just sounds so whimsical and magical and charming. So yeah, I will be trying to get to that too. And then a while back, I started The Nature of the Beast by Louise Penny. It's the next in her Armand Gamache series, and I was really enjoying it, but I just was not able to finish it in time. So I think I have about 5 hours left of that. The hold finally came back, my new hold, so I will be able to finish that. And it's really, I'm enjoying this one a lot more than the previous one. So yeah, definitely want to finish this one, and I'm excited to finish it. And I think that's all that I had to talk about. I had it all, on a list, and I didn't want to forget anything. So yes, if you like Victorian literature, if you like Jane Austen, do yourselves a favor, check out Bonnets at Dawn, and these ladies are just awesome, and they are going to be coming out with a book eventually. The two of them are writing it together. Hannah and Lauren are the hosts. And then another podcast that I found literally 2 days ago is called Victorian Scribblers. And this is such a niche podcast, but it is such a Kate podcast, and I'm so excited about it. And this is one where a PhD student in Victorian literature, and then eventually she has a co-host, talks about underrated and forgotten Victorian authors. So I am so excited. And the first one I've been listening to is on Wilkie Collins. And it's really interesting to hear about his life. And so she has 2 episodes per author. One is on their life, and the other part is on their work. So yeah, I am really looking forward to that. So yes, sorry if this was kind of rambly. Sometimes I have trouble collecting all my thoughts, but please let me know if you've read any of these, if you liked any of these, and I will see you guys for another video, I guess in May, unless I feel inspired to do a tag video sooner than that.